So again we are going to continue to last session. So we have seen like how the things it's getting exposed. You can see in the postman everything is getting exposed of the customer. So the main purpose is like data is very important and we don't want to expose this customer data to outside. So for that reason there is a one concept in the Spring Boot of DTO. So you can see how we have categorized the controller, entity, repository, service. So similarly, we can have one package that is a DTO. And in DTO, what we can do, we can segregate the fields like instance variables, which variables we don't want to expose, which we want to expose basically to the outer world. So we can keep in the DTO. So like suppose we can create two classes, user request and user response. User response. Okay. So user request we can keep some of the data like first we'll decide the user response. In user response we will be keeping the same fields like whatever in the user, this till this phone user response, but we will keep here a string, private string ID. Okay. And first name, email, phone will keep here private user role, user role and private address DTO, address DTO will keep. And one thing we can see, we don't have a now address DTO. So if we'll click this, more actions, create class address DTO. In the DTO itself will create address DTO. And what fields we can keep in the address DTO? Same. And from the address we can take address, ID, city, street, everything we can take. ID will not keep, we will remove that ID. Everything we will keep into that. And in user request we have not kept anything, no? So we can keep as a ID will not take, first name, last name, email, phone, take this in user request, email, phone, and then private address DTO, then address. So when we are defining the data, it means now everything constructor it will be handled by the Lombok. We can define everywhere at the rate data then, because we don't want to keep our code very complex. Just define at the rate data and everything it will be handled by the Spring Boot. So now first thing we have changed the request response DTO. So if we'll go to user controller, you can see why we are using DTO. We don't want to expose the entity classes to outside. But here you can see we are getting response from the user. So we can give the user response here. Now we'll start getting errors. Why we are getting errors? Because in user service, fetching users from the user only, and we have given user response. And now come to user service. List of user. Now fetch all users. It should come from user response. Now we are defining the one method, that is a user response. So we'll define the method into that. I will tell you what we are doing from the basic and why we are doing. So I told like what kind of a request we want to send to the client, what kind of a response we want from the client. That thing, now we are doing the mapping through this method, user response. So this user response, in the sense, what kind of a return type? Map to user response. This is a method name. And what kind of parameters we will pass? User. Why? Because our entity name is user, so we are getting all the information from the user. And user response is equal to new user response. We are creating the object of the user response. Then we'll set the response dot set ID string dot value, because we have passed their string, so that's why we are passing value of user dot get ID. Similarly, we have to pass every field. I will do the copy paste, not wait, I will do Control D. So we'll do the set first name this user dot get first name. Get first name. This we can duplicate because get last name is there. Control D. So here we can do the set last name. Here also set last name. So I will tell you, see, now we have to give, why we are controlling this? We are controlling mainly the response part. First, get the user from the first name, Then set to the response, get the last name, set to the response. Response dot set email user dot get email. So first we are getting the email from the user, then we are setting to the response. Understood? Response dot set phone user dot get phone. Start set user dot get role. It will do set role. Get role is there then. Now we have added the response, and if suppose that user, now we are adding for user address. Suppose user address user dot get address. If user address it's not present in the database, so what we can do in that case, address DTO address DTO is equal to new address DTO address DTO dot set street and user dot get address. Get address dot get street. Similarly, we have to add for wait, I will duplicate. Okay, so we are adding for street, we are adding for city, we are adding for city, we are getting address, we are getting city. Similarly for state, get state, get state, get country and zip code.
वीडियो बना रही है.
Get state and then get country and then zip code. Get country and then last one is zip code. Get zip code. Okay, so last one we can remove this one. in this, what we can do, response dot set address. Address DTO. We are getting the error here, set address. I will go and check why we are getting, because in address, in user request, we have defined the, I will define here at the rate required as constructor at the rate all as constructor. Same thing for response also. Required as all args. Address DTO. Whole same for address DTO. Required args. All args. Now we'll check. Where is that? Mapping. Service class set address. Okay, yeah, here in response address DTO by mistake I have wrote. I have removed to address response. Now we will check. Now it's gone. The error it's gone.